I knew something was wrong the moment I saw the new gazebo. It looked beautiful. Fresh wood, decorative lights, stone flooring, expensive landscaping. The HOA had built in the middle of a small community green space, right beside a paved walking path. Everyone loved it, everyone except me, because underneath that gazebo was an old municipal manhole, and I knew exactly what it connected to. The manhole was part of an underground sewer system that ran beneath the neighborhood. I'd seen city workers access it before. I'd watched maintenance crews open it during inspections. So when I saw the HOA construction crew pouring a foundation directly over the area, I walked over. I told the HOA president, "You shouldn't build there." She looked at the manhole cover. Then she looked at me and laughed. She said, "It's just an old sewer cover." I explained that the city might need access to it. She shrugged. Then she said, "The city can work around us." That sentence should have been my warning. I tried again. I explained that covering a municipal access point could create a serious maintenance problem. The HOA president rolled her eyes. She told me I was always looking for something to complain about. The board members standing around her laughed. So I stopped arguing. Instead, I took photographs. I photographed the manhole. I photographed the construction. I photographed the foundation. And I documented the date. A few weeks later, the gazebo was finished. It looked impressive. Residents gathered underneath it. The HOA even held a small neighborhood celebration. But beneath everyone's feet was the same manhole, completely covered. Then one morning I heard something strange. A loud mechanical rumbling came from the neighborhood. I looked outside. There was a massive city excavator driving toward the community green space. Behind it were several city utility trucks. Workers jumped out and started examining the ground. I immediately knew what they were there for. The HOA president came running outside. She asked the workers what was happening. One of the city employees pointed toward the gazebo. He said they needed emergency access to the municipal sewer line. The president looked confused. She said, "You can't dig there." The worker replied, "We have to." She tried explaining that the HOA had spent a lot of money building the gazebo. The city employee simply pointed at the ground. The sewer line was underneath it. The HOA president looked toward me. For the first time, she wasn't laughing. The city crew marked the excavation area, and then the excavator started digging. The beautiful landscaping disappeared almost instantly. Stone pavers were ripped apart. Flower beds were destroyed. And then the excavator reached the gazebo foundation. The HOA president started shouting. She demanded that the workers stop. But the city wasn't there to negotiate. They needed access to the municipal infrastructure. The excavator claw moved underneath the edge of the structure. With one massive pull, part of the gazebo shifted. Wood cracked, the roof tilted, and the entire structure began coming apart. Residents stood around watching in disbelief. The gazebo that had once been the HOA's proudest improvement was being dismantled by a city excavator. And there was nothing the HOA could do about it. After several hours, the workers finally reached the manhole. They removed the cover. And there it was, the access point I had warned them about. The city crews inspected the underground line and discovered that maintenance was necessary. If the HOA had left the access point clear, the work would have been straightforward. Instead, the city had to excavate through the expensive landscaping and destroy the structure covering it. The HOA president was furious. But this time, she couldn't blame me. I had warned them. The city had warned them. And the infrastructure records had apparently been there all along. The biggest argument came afterward. The HOA wanted to know who was responsible for the damage. But the city wasn't going to pay for a private structure that had been built over municipal infrastructure. The homeowners were stunned. Some residents demanded to know why the HOA board hadn't checked the utility maps before approving the project. Others wanted to know why the board had ignored the warning. And eventually, the questions became impossible to avoid. Why did they build over the manhole? Why did they ignore the maintenance access? And why did they laugh when someone warned them? The gazebo was gone. The landscaping had to be rebuilt. The paved area had to be repaired. And the HOA suddenly had a very expensive lesson. A few days later, I walked past the construction area. The new manhole was completely accessible. There was no gazebo covering it, no decorative stones, no flower beds, just a clear maintenance zone. I stopped for a moment and looked at it. The HOA president happened to walk past. She didn't say anything. Neither did I, because sometimes you don't need to say, "I told you so." The excavator already said it for you. The lesson was simple. Before building something beautiful, make sure you know what's underneath it. Because when a city needs access to critical infrastructure, your gazebo isn't going to win. If you enjoyed this HOA story, subscribe and tell me in the comments where you're watching from.